We are yet to build our first Maven project. For that, we need Maven goals. But we don't know what and all goals are there. We can go and check it out what and all goals are there. But usually, Maven goals are defined in the build lifecycle format. If I go and search for Maven build lifecycle, you can see the first link is talking about the introduction to the build lifecycle. Maven goals are set in the build lifecycle format. So we need to choose the right goals to build our project. If you want to understand the build lifecycle, it's just like our goals are divided into the three different build life cycles. One is default, another one is clean, and another one is site. So there are three built-in build life cycles: the default, clean, and site. Some of the important goals are displayed over here, and if you want to see what are the goals are available in the each build life cycle or each phase, you can click on this life cycle reference. Let me open in the new window, and if you go here, you can see life cycle references. This is the clean life cycle, this is the default life cycle, and another one is site life cycle. Okay, I'm just going to discuss about some of the important or quite commonly used goals among these life cycles. Let's go and have a look of those. So these are the quite commonly are important goals which we use in the Maven. That is clean. Okay, this is the goal which helps us to remove all the files generated by the previous build. Let's assume that we are building the same code again and again. In case if we want to delete all the files which are generated by the previous build, then we need to use the clean goal. Next, validate. Validate the project is correct and all necessary information is available. It's something like that before building or before compiling it, whether it contains all the information or not, it is going to display over here. Next, compile. We are going to compile the source code. It is going to compile only source code, not the test code. To compile the test code, we have the test compile. So in case if we want to compile the test code, we need to use this code. Next, test. To test the source code, whatever test cases we have written for this application, those are tested in the test phase or test goal. Next one is package. It takes the compiled code and package it into its distributed formats such as jar. So it takes the code and it is going to package it. Next, verify. Run any checks to verify the package is valid and meets the quality criteria. Whatever package we generated over here, it is going to verify that one. Next, install. Install the package into the local repository. We talk about local repository when we are working with Maven on Linux system, but for now just think that it is going to store this output or jar file in some local repository, and for use as a dependency in the other projects locally. In our local system, if we are creating any new project there, if we want to use the current project, then it will be useful. Next, deploy. Copies the final package to the remote repository for sharing with the other projects or other developers. Okay, so remote repository and local repository, anyway we are going to discuss over there. It is nothing but a centralized repository where we can store our files so that other projects or other people want to use it, they can use it. Even we have taken this archetype, right, that is from the central repository, so somebody has created, we are just using it. That's how Maven goals helps us. Next thing is Maven goals are executed in the sequential format, which means that in a life cycle, if we have the multiple goals, if we are going with the higher level of goal, then previous goals are automatically executed. Getting confused? Let me go back to the page again. So here if you see clean life cycle, right? If I use the clean option, then the previous goals, whatever is there in this phase, get automatically executed, which means that pre-clean is automatically executed, then it will go to the clean. If I want to execute the complete clean life cycle, then I can use the post clean as well. Okay. Similar way, default life cycle. In default life cycle, if I execute this one, it is going to execute only validate. If I execute the compile, all the previous goals, whatever is there, validate, initialize, and remaining, all the goals are executed till compile goal. And if I want to execute all the goals within this phase, that is default phase, then I can execute just a deploy. Okay. In this, if I use the clean, and in this, if I use the deploy, it means that I'm using these two goals as well as all these goals. Okay, that is how it works. Next, The site life cycle, usually we don't use this one. This is for the documentation purpose. In case if we want to create some documentation about our project, we use the site life cycle. Okay, this is not widely used, so we just ignore it. We are going to deal with these two phases. Under these two phases, in clean phase, again we are going to use the just clean options. Then here we are going to use different ways, like in case if we want to just compile the code, we can use the compile. In case if we want to test the compile, then all these goals are executed. Nothing but compilation of the source code also get executed, compilation of the test code also get executed. If I use the clean package, it compiles it and it creates the package. If I use install, it is going to compile it, it do the testing, and it do the packaging, and it also install it in our local repository. That's how it works. Anyway, we are going to see these important goals by executing on our project. That's all for this lecture, and see you in the next lecture.